There's nothing worse than finishing a job and realizing that in your bank account, you have less money than you did when you started. You're listening to Success Unleashed, where we show contractors how to grow a 7 or 8-figure business. My name is Gerritt Bake, and I've helped over 1,000 contractors and trade business owners just like you with the people, processes, and plan in place to create ultimate freedom. Welcome to the show. Stop underpricing your way to burnout. The other day, I was having a conversation with a Finnish carpenter, right? A trim carpenter. And he's been in business 25 years, right? The guy knows how to finish woodwork, right? Whether it's casing or it's windows or it's doors. The guy does custom doors, like if you can imagine like a saloon. He does all kinds of theater rooms, custom built bunk beds, stairs. I mean, just amazing work, right? But we're having this conversation, and during this conversation, something stuck out. See, because when he showed up with his shoulders down, hunched over, right? Like this 1,000-yard stare. And I said, hey man, what's wrong? And when we were talking, he told me, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm busier than I've ever been, but my bank account just keeps dropping. What a horrible position to be in. You might be in it yourself. And so you know that gut-wrenching feeling. I'm busier than I've ever been, but there's less money in my bank account. Why? Why does that happen? Why do you get to a point where it doesn't matter the amount of jobs that you're doing, you just can't seem to get ahead? I'll tell you the foundation of this problem. You grew up in an industry that was super competitive and probably still is. And in your mind, you've told yourself, I need to be the cheapest. I need to bid low because I need to win more jobs. In the back of my mind, I'm going to ignore labor costs, material costs, overhead, and the all-important profit margin. I'm going to ignore these because ultimately what I really want to do is get my foot in the door. If I just get my foot in the door with this builder, then everything will be okay. If I just get my foot in the door with this neighborhood, everything will be okay. If I just. And slowly but surely, the bank account starts to drain. And now all of a sudden, you're busier than you've ever been. And yet you're losing money. See, because at the end of the day, you're stuck in the cycle. And that's the cycle of thinking that busy equals productive. That's the cycle of thinking that more jobs equals more money. And it couldn't be further from the truth. What's worse than working 60 hours a week and realizing that as soon as the money goes in, it's coming right back out? What's worse than realizing that you're staying up late at night or waking up early in the morning, stressed out about bills? There's nothing more expensive than underpricing your jobs. I want you to think about that for a reason, right? Nothing more expensive than underpricing your jobs. Because at the end of the day, it's not just costing you money. It's going to cost you your sanity. It's going to cost you your health. And at the end of the day, it's going to cost you your business. So what is it that you need to do? Well, let's go back to the scenario with this trim carpenter. What was it that we decided to do? Well, the first thing was to start to analyze the jobs that he was bringing in. Some were residential, some were commercial, right? But what we realized is as we looked at the jobs, not all jobs were created equal. And he had signed some contracts, some multi-year contracts with some apartment complexes that at the price that he'd bid them were no longer profitable. And that's where he was losing his money. So he decided to make a shift. And what was that shift? The shift was to higher paying jobs that provided, here's the key, the margin that he was looking for. Because you can bid a job and think, oh, I got my labor, materials, and my overhead, and then I'm going to mark up a certain dollar amount thinking that that's going to solve my problems. But it's not always, right? You have to bid jobs with the end in mind. What's the margin that I want to pull out of this, i.e. the profit that I want to pull out of this, right? And work your way backwards from there. All of a sudden, you're going to notice that not all jobs are created equal. And you're going to see the ones that you should be bidding and you shouldn't be bidding. And when someone comes back and says, oh, that's too expensive. Well, Mrs. Jones, what's more important to you, price or quality. And if they say price, tip the cap. Hey, not your guy. Good luck. And you walk away. So what we did is we built out a game plan. The game plan was super simple. Going back to, the conversations we had about marketing, who is it that you want to work with? And he decided he wanted to work with custom home builders. Why? Pretty easy. They paid the best, right? And they valued quality. So we built out the game plan. And the game plan was, okay, what do we want to make margins on these jobs? And for him, it was 30%. That's what he wanted to make. And so we built out the game plan so he could make 30% on these jobs. And then he went to the marketing plan and said, okay, I'm going to go connect with as many custom home builders as I can. Did it take a little bit of time? Yeah, sure. Took a few months. But then he got 2 custom home builders that build parade homes. Now, if you're in the trades or you're a GC, you know the parade of homes. Super popular, right? People love going to parade homes, and they're going to see your work, and they're going to ask who did it, and they're going to want you to do it for them, right? So these custom home builders valued quality. And so he was able to get in with them, and it shifted the entirety of his business. Now, he had to play out, the multi-year contract that he signed. But once he did, guess what happened to his margins? Took off. Guess what happened to the low-paying jobs? Gone. And it gave him more confidence that when Susie homeowner calls and says, hey, can you frame out this basement for me? Hey, can you upgrade this door for me? Hey, can you do these things for me? He already knew his numbers. And it was very easy for him to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, it's going to cost this much. Ooh, that's kind of expensive. Well, do you value price or do you value quality? Well, I think price is more important to me right now. Great. I'm not your guy. Click. Done. Quit wasting your time, right? Move on to the people who value you for what it is that you do. So at the end of the day, how is it that we get away from underpricing jobs? Number one, and most important, you have to know your numbers. What are your numbers? Okay. Think labor, materials, and overhead. Those are your numbers. It's not just how much is the job going to cost, but how much is my office? How about the workman's comp insurance? What about the vehicle? What about any insurance, right? Like we're looking at all these pieces together. How much is it going to cost to do this job, right? And then what do I want my margins to be? You want them to be 20%? Cool. You have to build out your pricing in a way that allows for that end game of 20%. Now, how do we do this accurately? Well, at minimum, you need to be using a spreadsheet that helps you track your numbers. But really what you need is some type of estimating software. Now, it could be through your CRM, depending on which CRM you're using. But at the end of the day, you need a way to track this consistently. If you're still using paper and pens, please throw it away. Please do me a favor. Stop. If you're not using any type of estimating software, I challenge you to start using it. It is going to make your life 100 times easier. The next thing, once you have your numbers dialed in, guess what it makes it easier for you to do? Tell the lowball clients, no, I'm not going to do your job. It doesn't make sense for me. You're not the type of person that I want to work with, which frees you up the time, energy, and attention to focus on the people that you want to work with. Now, here's another little secret. One of the mentors in our group, Tim Brown, he owns a company that does north of 15 million a year. And the other day he was speaking to a group of our clients, right? And he said, funny thing happens when you believe that you're worth more. All of a sudden people are willing to pay more. And he looked at everyone in the room, 25 contractors, and he looked at them and he said, my challenge to you is to go out today and raise your prices 5%. Raise them 5%. Don't change anything else. Just raise your prices 5%. And what you're going to see is people are willing to pay it. Now, what were the results from that? I will tell you. Less than 20% actually raised their prices. But of the 20% that did, 75% of them had zero issues. Nobody complained. Nobody said, what's this? They just paid it. So there you go. It's not more complicated than that. Figure out what your numbers are. Figure out where you want to be. Start saying no to the low price clients and gradually be willing to accept the fact that you are as good as you say you are, and you are worth more, and just raise your prices. If you do that, I guarantee you will never, ever underprice a job again. All right, you know what time it is. It's time for you to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go. If you're serious about growing your contracting business, and let's be real, if you made it to the end of this episode, you are. We've got a free community built just for you. Inside, you'll get access to exclusive courses, live coaching calls, and in-person events that will give you the tools to scale with confidence. Click the link below to join us, and I'll see you on the inside.